forget, whose idea was this originally? Is there going to be some finger pointing here?
I'll point at James.
It was originally mine, yeah.
And you didn't just want to haul off and deck them?
Well, I did, because I was like, you've got to be kidding. I could instantly see things like sugar not going to be happening. That seemed a bit much. And I couldn't even imagine all the things we wouldn't be able to find. That wasn't until after I agreed to it, foolishly. But, I mean, I liked the idea on another level. I thought, this is worth trying, and I started looking through the garden catalog and getting into all the early season greens. I thought, okay, the minute I've started doing this, I must have accepted in my heart that we are going to try and eat locally for a year.
And you started this when?
The first day of spring, 2005.
Yeah, and the first day of spring isn't a day we would recommend to anyone else who's thinking about trying any kind of local eating experiment, because I think, like most urbanites, we thought, first day of spring, that's when the vegetables shoot out of the ground.
And are instantly ready.
Fully formed, yeah, fully formed. The tomatoes suddenly, blew them out onto the vine, and of course it's not like that at all. And it was a long, cold, wet spring in Vancouver in 2005, and quite a while till we were seeing fresh greens and food that didn't make you think of winter and wartime.
Honestly, it's a miracle she didn't beat you to death with a potato.
I do the cooking, so.
Yeah, because I thought if he serves her potatoes once more, it's like that's it.
Yeah.
Because you ate a lot of root vegetables, and I mean early on in the book, you reminded me of the people in the biodome, It's like, they're going to starve to death. It says there's no dome holding them in, but they are going to starve.
Yeah, we had more borscht than I'd ever want to see in a lifetime. Although potatoes was something I never got tired of. That was an amazing discovery. I still haven't eaten a beet since that borscht season, but other things endured. And really, once the farmers market started in May, and that is when the things really started to be ripe, then it just turned into greater and greater abundance, and learning which farmers sold what and where to go to get the best strawberries. So it became easier as the time went by.
What were the rules of the 100-mile diet?
We pretty much, 100 miles is a fairly, is in some ways a number we pulled out of a hat. I mean, it happens to fit very neatly into the natural region that we live in, and it's also a pretty easy, accessible guideline figure for anybody who wanted to, draw a circle around themselves and say, can I eat within this local region? So our rules were not only that everything we ate had to come from within 100 miles, but every ingredient in everything we ate. So it couldn't be a beer that's produced in Vancouver. It would have to be a beer that was produced in Vancouver using barley and hops and water that were drawn off the area immediately around us. So other than that, those really were the rules. I mean, it couldn't be simpler.
So how practical do you think it would be for the average North American to try to do this?
To do it exactly as we did, totally impractical, but we did it that way because we wanted to explore the absolute limits of the industrial food system. But elements of it, super practical. Things like taking your family for an afternoon to a U-Pick farm and picking strawberries is something anyone can do. Or having friends over for a local meal is something anyone can do. You can divide up the shopping and the cooking between friends, go to the farmer's market together, and make kind of an event of it. That's something anyone could do.
Yeah, I think anybody can build enough awareness to really start to change the balance between how much global food they're eating and how much local food they're eating. Right now, most of us eat an overwhelmingly global diet with a few local ingredients popping up by chance, really. But with a little bit of effort and a little bit more awareness, I think people can start to swing the balance the other way.
To slight the California strawberry industry, but really, it's the California cardboard industry.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. It has nothing to do with. I can go to a field near my house and get them. They were picked 2 minutes ago.
Mm-hmm.
Pop it in my mouth. It's an entirely different experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the things in our modern supermarkets just visually appear to be the food they're representing. This looks like an apple, but you bite into it, it doesn't, it's all pulpy and bland. And yeah, you go to an orchard and get one that maybe looks a bit like a runt. You wouldn't pick it in a supermarket, but then it tastes delicious.
Yeah, and we talked a bit about the hardship of this diet at the start, but towards the end, it really had become the best year of eating we'd ever had, and for the reason you just described, where it's everything we're eating is just picked at the peak of ripeness. It's got its full flavor, its full nutrition, and we found we were making just simple meals with 2 or 3 different ingredients, but they were all so so flavorful that's all we needed.
Okay, 3 things a person just listening to this in their car, not going cuckoo fanatical like you guys did, but what 3 things could they do that are pretty easy, and will give them some success right away?
Well, if they have a yard or even a balcony, you can plant beans. We had them on our balcony. You can go to farmer's market. You can.
I think you could choose one item that is grown locally and say, this year all of product X that I buy, I'm going to make sure it comes local. Say potatoes. Say you just pick potatoes. You decide this year all of my potatoes are going to be sourced locally.
The book is The 100-Mile Diet, A Year of Local Eating. I've been speaking with the authors Alisa Smith and J.B. MacKinnon, and The 100-Mile Diet, published by Random House of Canada.